Time to check the weather now, and a high pressure system will bring mostly clear skies across the continent, but there will be clouds in the southeast, with a low ensuring there'll be some wet days ahead. In the major centres now, showers on the way for Melbourne and Sydney. It'll be wet also in Adelaide and Canberra, a top there of 13 degrees. Fine in Darwin with a top of 31, and it'll be fine in the Alice too. Looking further afield now, it'll be overcast in Noumea. Clear skies ahead for Nandi and Tahiti, a top of 30 degrees. Rain ahead for Samoa.
In Southeast Asia, fine in Port Moresby and Singapore. Thunderstorms for Bangkok, rain in Jakarta and also for Phnom Penh. Further north, clouds over Beijing and Tokyo, a few showers ahead in Taipei and Manila, wet conditions forecast for Hanoi and Hong Kong.
Let's head west now. Some rain ahead for Islamabad and Mumbai. Delhi will see some thunderstorms, hot and humid elsewhere, a top of 46 degrees in Baghdad. Let's see what's happening in Europe now, and there should be a few showers in store for Paris and Warsaw. Some soggy conditions in London and Istanbul. Should be fine in Madrid and Moscow. Bit of cloud about Athens and Berlin.
Zooming down to Africa, patchy cloud over Algiers, a few showers for Lagos and Casablanca. Fine conditions in Cairo, rain though for Nairobi. Across the Atlantic we go now to South America, patchy rain in Lima and Panama City. Fine conditions in Rio de Janeiro and Santiago. Overcast in Buenos Aires.
And finally for North America, stormy conditions ahead for Miami and Havana. A bit of rain about Mexico City, a top of 23 degrees there. It should be fine though in Chicago and Los Angeles, and a cloudy day ahead for Vancouver.
French students are one step closer to solving the mystery of an unidentified Indigenous digger in a rare World War I photograph.
The still was found in an attic in northern France, and the students have travelled all the way to Australia to find out just who the man is.
This is the picture that captured the imagination of a group of French teenagers.
It's the only one photo amongst 800 with Australians where there is an Aboriginal digger.
And inspired them to travel to the other side of the world to honour his sacrifice at this memorial service to Indigenous diggers in Canberra.
No matter the situation they were in or how they were treated at that time, what is important is now to be able to give the same respect.
The teenagers come from the French village of Vignacourt, where this attic held a secret for almost 100 years. A chest full of thousands of glass slides capturing World War I soldiers in rare, uncensored moments of ease. The up to 800 Indigenous diggers involved in World War I weren't even considered citizens when they fought and often died for the country. And the mystery of the Indigenous digger and his white friend is now closer to being solved.
They'd like to know a little bit about where he came from. They'd like to know what he was doing in Vignacourt, what role he played.
It tells you these two guys are mates. You know, people don't get photos taken of people with people they don't know.
Having come so far, confirming his identity is the next challenge.
They're just waiting for a comparative family photo, and they have to cross-match.
There's a chance we might find him, but there's probably a bigger chance we might not.
Thea Cowie, SBS World News.
Updating our headline stories now, and the Prime Minister Tony Abbott has announced 50 Australian federal police officers have been sent to Europe ready to help secure the MH17 crash site. The officers are now in London awaiting orders to travel to Ukraine. Foreign Minister Julie Bishop is also on her way to Kiev.
Forensic work to identify the victims of the crash has begun in the Netherlands. Dozens of bodies were transported in a solemn procession that made its way through Eindhoven. The identification process could take months. It's getting underway in Hilversum, 30 kilometres southeast of Amsterdam.
Taiwanese officials are defending a flight clearance given to a plane that crashed while trying to land during stormy weather. 48 people were killed, though 10 survived. Investigators are now sifting through the wreckage to find clues as to the cause of the crash.
And diplomatic efforts to stop the Israel-Gaza war are escalating. In the last 24 hours, envoys from the US, Britain and the UN have met Israeli and Palestinian leaders as well as other leaders from the region. So far, Hamas continues to reject calls for a ceasefire.
That's the world this Thursday. Our next bulletin is at the earlier time of 9:30 p.m. on SBS 1.
And we will, of course, have headlines throughout the evening, and the latest news is available on our website. Don't forget, the feed is about to begin over on SBS 2 from the World News team. Have a good evening.
Good night.